Genesis, the beginning of something new. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Rabbit Hole podcast. I don't know if I can call this a podcast properly, because like when I think of a podcast, I think of like Joe Rogan talking to Elon Musk, or like Jocko screaming into the mic like, "Go get some, get after it," talking to some Navy SEAL who's had 10,000 deployments. But yeah, I'll get there. I don't really know what this is. I just know it's something that's healthy for me, for my mental health, for my life, and I'm just here to do it, And I think partly because, why I'm not very ready to do something like this is because this is like a very impulsive thing. Like, I thought about doing this last night. I literally went and got this microphone today, set up the software today, and decided to press the record button and see where it takes me, and again, like, it's very impulsive. It hasn't been a part of my my vision or my manifestations. It hasn't been one of those things, and like, I truly believe that when you put something into your subconscious mind, your subconscious mind finds a way to manifest it in your reality in some way, And the best example I can give you of this, it's like, if you want to buy a new car, you want to buy like a new Porsche 911 or something, and you write down, I will get a Porsche 911 in 2 years, and you print out a photo and you look at that photo, and it's weird because if you make that such an integral part of your life, of your psyche, of your subconscious mind, you will realize that when you go out in town, like, the only thing you will notice is Porsche 911s, like, literally. So I think that's why, like, because this podcast has not been in my subconscious mind a lot. Like, I haven't been looking out for like specific people I can talk to, or like specific equipment I can buy, or a specific way I can set this up. So I'm kind of winging it. And if you haven't been to Australia, or if you're not from Australia, winging it means I'm just taking a leap of faith and just doing it without much planning at all. And we're here to talk about Jiu-Jitsu tonight, because, man, Jiu-Jitsu has been such a big part of my life in 2020, and I'm here to talk about my Jiu-Jitsu journey in 2020. And so let me give you a little bit of an introduction. My name's Nathan, and I'm turning 22 this year. And I've been studying abroad in Australia for a total of like 5 years, and I'm back in Malaysia now. I'm from Malaysia, and wow, that was a weird noise I just made. I don't know if the microphone picked that up. It was like a burp and like a yawn, or like a hiccup all at once. But I started Jiu-Jitsu last year, and to those of you guys who do not know what Jiu-Jitsu is, go to YouTube and type in BJJ. You will find what is, in my humble opinion, actually not humble, in my fucking opinion, is the best sport in the universe. Like, not just Earth, the universe. Like, the universe. And, so I started my Jiu-Jitsu journey last year. And truly because I watch a lot of the UFC. And I tried doing Muay Thai for a bit, but it just wasn't for me, like, cause, and and then one day I realized that there was a Jiu-Jitsu gym near where I live, and honest to God, it's one of the best gyms in the world. Legion 13, represent. It is fucking phenomenal, and that's where I started. And I rocked up the first night, and man, I used to be a bulky dude, like, I did powerlifting in high school and all that. And, the instructor told me, do a forward roll. And I was like, do a what? Do a forward roll. A forward roll. And I was like, what? He's like, and he just started rolling forward on the mat. And I was shocked. I was like, what the fuck is this? But at that moment, it was weird because there was, yeah, and I remember that night I was really frustrated at something. Like it was like, I had a fight with my partner, and it was just a terrible night. Like it was, I was feeling shitty. Like, and I was like, I checked my clock. There was a class at 7, and I got into the car. It was already like 6:55 or something, and I rushed there, and I was wearing a tank top to a gi jiu-jitsu class, beginner's class. And he's like, do a forward roll. And I was like, at that moment, I was like, I'm already here. The only thing I can do is just at least try. So I just tucked my head, did a forward roll, and it was beautiful. Like, honestly, it was wonderful. I went back home that night, and I was bloodied. Like, honestly, I was bloody. I wore like a singlet and like a pair of shorts to a gi jiu-jitsu class, and I came back and like I had blood all over my leg. And I realized that I think I scraped like a piece of flesh off my knee, and then it's just my leg was just my calf was full of blood, and it's like the most wonderful experience ever. I think I was sore for a week. Like, I shit you not, like I was sore for a week, and from that day on, I loved it. I went, I went like for a whole week, and then COVID happened. Yeah, COVID happened, and I had to stop for like a month. And when classes came back, like I think I fell even deeper in love with it. And I think I went 4 days a week, and in the beginning, and then when I got more comfortable with it, it became 5. Yeah, it became open mat as well. It became 5. And it was a beautiful journey. And look, I'm not gonna sit here and lie about this. Since the day I walked in, when I decided I was gonna take this seriously, my goal was to get my blue belt in a year, and I'm very happy to say I did that, and I hope I deserved it. But yeah, my goal from day one was to get it in a year, and and I know belts don't mean much in jiu-jitsu, and to be honest, they don't. But because I've never had a sport or anything in my life that I believe in self-growth, in your own self-worth, but at the same time, I've never had something in my life which was like a feasible, like a certificate, like you have achieved this. I've never had that in my life, and my dream is like, since the beginning, was like, I want jiu-jitsu to be that for me. I want to get my black belt. Like, I know the journey never ends, but that's something I'm aiming for, and so yeah, I trained really hard. I went for my first competition, and it didn't go so well. If you know the stories, you do. That's a story for another day. But it didn't go so well. Not in the sense that I did badly. I actually did really good. It's just I think it's just drama at the competition, and it's just terrible. Like, we'll go into that some other time. But towards the end of my last class, by the way, I graduated university last year in Australia, so I went back to my home country of Malaysia, and on my last night of jiu-jitsu, I got promoted to my blue. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I've always had like a doubtful feeling, like, did I get my blue just because I was gonna leave? Like, I don't want that to be the case. I hope I deserved it. Like, I trained really hard for it, and yeah, like, I'm overthinking it. Like, that's one of the things that I'm trying to fix in my own personal journey, which is just overthinking things. I should just take it. But yeah, it is what it is, and I'm very grateful, and yeah, but. I come from a small town in Malaysia. It's called Cebu. I'll link a photo like right here, like somewhere on the screen. And there are no jiu-jitsu gyms here, and I was so bummed that there aren't any jiu-jitsu gyms here. And that segues into why this podcast is called the Rabbit Hole Podcast. And it's because my soon-to-be jiu-jitsu gym I hesitate when I say gym because I want to do it in a respectful way. I want to do it it's outrageous for a blue belt to open a gym. It's absolutely ludicrous. But, it's not, so I don't want to label it as a gym. It's more like of my own place where I can roll, and the question of who I would roll, it's just like, I don't know. I just need a space, because no one here, I don't know anyone who knows jiu-jitsu here, but I believe that if I have a space, it would open myself up to the possibility of getting people to do jiu-jitsu and maybe, just getting me back on the journey, even if it's like just baby steps, even if it's like me crawling, I don't care. Like, I want to be back on the journey. I haven't rolled in like 2 months, and I want to be back on the journey, and I miss it so much. And it's there's no disrespect here. Like, I know it's crazy. It's just like I want jiu-jitsu to be a part of my life again, and it's like it's the only way. Like, it's literally the only way. Like there is no other way. like I could fly out, or something like that, but COVID is, it's fucking up that plan. So if in the feasible future, it is the only way, And talking about why it's called rabbit hole, it's because, I truly believe jiu-jitsu is the hardest sport in the world. It's like, it's phenomenal. Like, if you've never tried jiu-jitsu before, I assume most people watching this have done jiu-jitsu before. But if you haven't done jiu-jitsu before, my God, it is the best sport as I said, in the universe, in the absolute unit. Like, there is nothing better. Like, nothing, no sport. And by the way, this is just a whinge. The fact that it is not an Olympic sport is outrageous, in my opinion. It's crazy. It's crazy. It should be. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And the reason why I'm calling it rabbit hole is because I believe that, and Jordan Peterson talked about this in his book, there is chaos and there is order in life. And these two things are always in battle. You want to tread the line in the middle, but these two things are they're polar opposites, And chaos is like adventure, growth, creativity, desire, wanting to be better, wanting to do more. And order is security. It's like, I'm happy, I'm comfortable, I'm safe, I'm secure. Let me give you an example. It's really easy to have a 9-to-5 job. Relatively, right? It's easy to have like a secure income producing job that you go to 9 o'clock in the morning, you get home 5 o'clock at night, and that's that. And you get your paycheck and you spend your paycheck. It's relatively easy. It's also relatively easy to be a starving artist. You can, to not give a shit, to not give a fuck about what you're eating, what your wife is eating, what your kids are eating, whether or not you're living in a good neighborhood. Like, it's also easy to just dive into your dreams and be chaotic and be creative and be this artist. It's easy to do that. But what's difficult is to find a middle ground, for you to, and also, like, if you're talking about business, it's entrepreneurship. It's being able to have a dream, to have foresight, to have this vision of what you want, but at the same time, do the necessary steps to make sure that you're secure. It's really hard to tread the line in the middle. And going back to jiu-jitsu, in jiu-jitsu, like, it is one of the hardest sports in the world. Like, in no sport will you experience as much pain. Look, there are things that in life hurt more than jiu-jitsu. For sure. Like getting hit by lightning. But then you'd probably be dead. Let me give a better example. Like getting hit by a car, or if you're a woman, giving birth, or if you're a guy, getting kicked in the balls. Those things are, I would say, more painful than the average thing that will happen to you in the jiu-jitsu, on the jiu-jitsu mats, on average. But the fact that you have to wake up every morning with almost every single joint in pain, with every joint sore. Now, this is something that is exclusive to jiu-jitsu. Exclusive. I believe, to my knowledge, they may be some other crazy sport, to my knowledge, exclusive to Jiu-Jitsu. And this idea to wake up every morning feeling sore, feeling pain, doesn't mean you're a professional. It could just, if you do Jiu-Jitsu 2 days a week proper, like you're committed, you do all the drills, you roll all the rolls hard. Not even hard, like medium, like 6 out of 10. You will be sore. Your joints will hurt. Without a doubt. And I truly believe that no other sport in this world, if you put in like 6 out of 10 effort, you will wake up every morning with your joints sore. Like, I don't think so. To my knowledge, I truly cannot name a different sport like this. And that is why it's called rabbit hole. Because I believe that when it comes to things which require this level of dedication and this level of passion and desire, you need to go over the edge. You need to dive yourself in to the rabbit hole like Alice. Just a little bit over the edge, you need to be consumed a little bit by the chaos, to have that raw desire, a little bit, without being consumed totally. You can't be consumed totally. And the perfect example of this, I hope I don't cop shit for this, is rolling a higher belt. When you roll a higher belt, people tend to say focus on the fundamentals, which you should. You should be focusing on the fundamentals. In anything in life, you need good fundamentals. Like if you want to be good at business, you gotta be. You gotta know the fundamentals. You gotta know how to do your own accounting. You gotta know how to be accountable. You gotta know how to be a good leader. You can't just say, I want to make money and you're gonna dive right in. Then you're just gonna become like the starving artist. It's just gonna be like, you're just gonna be like, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to do it. You're not gonna learn the proper way. It's how it is. So if you want to learn to play the piano, you can't just go there and play like a ballad. You have to learn the basics. Like Jiu-Jitsu, when you roll a higher belt, they say work on your fundamentals. So play simple guards, closed guard, de la hiva, when you're stuck in side control, hip escape. When you're in closed guard, do the general stuff. But then you also, in my opinion, now this I do say is my humble opinion, because I am very humble when it comes to jiu-jitsu. You need that little bit of creativity. You need that little bit of chaos, And, the gym I trained at, Legion 13, they are phenomenal at teaching fundamentals. Like, man, like they are spot on. Like, it's actually absolutely incredible. But then again, stuff like rubber guard, they don't really go into. And I'm blessed with the flexibility of being able to play a little bit of rubber guard. And I love playing rubber guard. It's so fun, like to have your foot almost at your head. Like, it's fantastic, it's cool, and it's got style factors, it's got style points. Like, come on, like jiu-jitsu is a serious sport, but at the same time, you need that creativity. You need that joy in it. If not, it becomes, like it's not just jiu-jitsu. In anything in life, if you're passionate about it, you need that sense of creativity. You need that sense of enjoyment, like. So when you roll a higher belt and they say focus on the fundamentals, sometimes you got to go over the edge, in my humble opinion. Sometimes when you're stuck in bottom side, you got to try something pretty crazy. You got to try some crazy chokes. And look, I don't mean, and again, it goes back to the idea of order and chaos. If you just stick to the fundamentals and never try anything new, you stagnate yourself. On the other side of the spectrum, if you rock up and you roll a higher belt and you treat it with disrespect, you're like, I know everything. I'm just going to try all these crazy moves that you've never even like attempted before, and you're on the other side of the spectrum. But if you're somewhere in the middle, if you work hard on your fundamentals, but at the same time, you indulge a little bit on the fun stuff, on the creative stuff, then jiu-jitsu becomes so much more fun. It becomes so much more creative, and you jump into the rabbit hole a little bit, you know? And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I want to say about jiu-jitsu. I ordered the mats. I'm getting a quotation soon. Hopefully they will come in a matter of weeks and we will get something going. But yeah, jiu-jitsu gave me a lot of stability, a lot of order in my life, a lot of discipline in my life. There were times where I didn't feel like rocking up at the mats, where I didn't feel like I wanted to roll. But because of the discipline that jiu-jitsu instilled within me, I dragged myself to the mat, and because of this, I am able to bring this in so many other parts of my life, you know, to be more accountable, to be more, as I said, disciplined. And yeah. And to be honest, you know, the reason why I'm doing this podcast is I'm going through something pretty personal right now in my life. And you know, I'm not gonna lie, it's a relationship issue. And you know, a big part of why I'm having turmoil in my relationships is because I've been a child in a lot of these scenarios, you know. I have been outsourcing my needs to other people, making them responsible for my own sense of self. And to be honest, starting, you know, this podcast or this talk show is really a step for me to become more self-sufficient, to regain my sense of self-respect and identity. You know, because I'm an expressive guy. I like to speak. I like to share. I like to talk. And with my partner, I feel like I locked her in a box because I made her responsible for meeting this need of self-expression, and on top of that, of a validation, you know, to not only listen to me, but to listen to me and then validate me, which is an extremely, like, when I say it now, like, it's ridiculous, like it's fucking stupid, you know. So this podcast for me is truly a way of self-expression, of sharing. And look, I've always wanted to do something like this, you know, YouTube videos or something like that. And I have made YouTube videos before, you know, in high school and even primary school. Primary school is a long time ago. And actually, I'll put a clip in here. And the only explanation, the only, you know, description I can give of my previous YouTube endeavors is just cringe. Like, it's literally just like my face turns into like a lemon when I see those videos resurface. Like, it's just cringe beyond explanation. And I feel a lot of that is because when I made those videos, I wasn't coming from the right space. You know, it wasn't from a place of pure sharing and expression. It was from a place of, again, wanting to meet needs in a toxic manner, needs of wanting to feel important, needs of wanting to feel secure, of validation, of wanting to feel important and respected, you know, wanting the likes, wanting the shares, wanting the comments, the engagements. And because of that, I became very superficial. You know, when I go back and look at those videos, like when I speak, I don't even recognize the person who's speaking, you know, which is ridiculous. And in a way, I'm very, very grateful that none of those things ever gained traction, because if they did, it would validate the idea in my mind that it is okay to fulfill my needs in that manner, in that fashion. And I would probably be in a very toxic place right now. And it's so sad because a lot of people, like, I was born in 1999, I'm turning 22 this year. And it's crazy how, I had a couple years in my childhood where I didn't have access to a phone, or to like technology as we know it. I remember a time where at night, instead of being on looking at a screen, I was doing something else. I was with my family. I was interacting with human beings physically. Whereas a lot of people now, they grow up in an age where it's just technology. Like, technology is God in a way. And, a lot of people are really, really, really addicted to social media. And, they might not post long form content like videos on YouTube and stuff. But, I mean, like Instagram, people who share photos on Instagram and get that sense of validation, that dopamine kick from Instagram, it's ridiculous. Excuse me. It's like, if your happiness and your sanity of mind is tied to your follower count or the number of likes you get on a post, like, man, you need to break free of that. Like, you need to find a different way to live, and I'm not gonna lie, like, the last couple of days have been really tough on me. I've had to go into my subconscious and rewire a lot of things, and I feel as human beings, we have to sometimes break free and be able to see life from a third person perspective. I'm turning 22 this year, and it will be a blessing if I live till 60. That's a third of my life. And day to day, when your perception is all up here and it's all base level, when you're stressed about, your work or your own psychological drama, it's hard for you to conceptualize that like a third of your life is already gone. Like, it's really hard. But when you think about it, like a third, it's like, if, again, the example of a 9-to-5 job, like the daily routine of a person who does a 9-to-5 job, it's like you wake up, you go to work, you're halfway through having your lunch, you're having your sandwich, and it's half eaten. That's like a third of your day. You go back home. I mean, you finish your job, you get back at 5. That's the second third. You go back home, you enjoy a beer, and that's the conclusion. So life is really short. It's really fragile, and it's really important to take inventory of yourself. To be mindful of how you're feeling and where you're progressing. And so it's. The last couple of days have been really tough, but we're trucking forward. We are getting after it. And it's also, one last thing to wrap up. It's really important to have a vision, and a lot of people say like, oh, what's the difference between a vision and a goal? A goal is something you move towards, but a vision is something that pulls you toward it. You can set 10,000 goals and still get nowhere. But if you have a vision, you will get there. And the reason for this is because when you set a goal, like, for example, like I want to make $10,000, there could be no why to that. Like, why do you want to make that $10,000? If the why to you setting a goal is simply because you want the dopamine kick of achieving that goal, you got to get your vision sorted out. Because if you do that, then you're just like a druggie. You're willing to set any goal so long as it gives you the illusion that you're moving ahead. But in reality, you're just achieving something. And achieving something doesn't mean you're moving ahead, because you could achieve 10 different things. And 10 different things are pulling you in 10 different ways. So in other words, you're standing still. So if life has been beating you down and you've had a couple days of life just giving it to you, man, like honestly, like just slamming it to you, if you're at a state of desperation, of depression, of fear, of anxiety, of dread, do not dwell. I know that firsthand, and dwelling is the worst thing you can do, because when you dwell, you die. Because when you dwell, you submit yourself to false realities and take them as truth. Instead, set your intention. Let it be known to your mind, especially your subconscious mind, that this is what I want, and I will not take no for an answer, that you will not have it any other way. And when you do this, your life will change. When you do this, things will start moving, because you'll become more abundant, because you will be at a state where you are willing to take chances, that you're willing to do new things, that you're willing to show up, to be your best self no matter how you feel. And you will realize the scarcity of life. You will realize that, hey, I'm 22, I've got my issues, but I haven't got long left. And every day counts and every day matters. And you will keep moving forward no matter what. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very grateful that you're able to spend this night with me. As I said, I'm going through some really tough times right now, and this is a great way for me to meet my need of self-expression in a very healthy way. And if you enjoyed this, if I was some kind of white noise, fantastic. If you enjoyed listening to me, if you enjoyed just this interaction, feel free to hit the subscribe button to be notified when I post again. I actually don't know where this is gonna go. I literally got this microphone today, and I set this up. I'm in my bedroom. I set this up, and we shall see where this goes. But I'm really enjoying this. I feel like I'm expressing authentically. I feel like there is no bullshit here. I'm gonna keep it real. And just by the way, this is not a politically correct podcast or show. Like, I'm gonna make some jokes. I'm gonna say some things in the future. I just know it. That is not politically correct. But I'm making a joke. So if someone out there is looking for a politically correct show, this ain't for you, man. So I hope you enjoyed this. I surely did. I hope that wherever you are right now, to stay abundant, to stay happy, all the best. Take care, and remember, in whatever you're doing, go just a little bit further and go into the rabbit hole. See you guys. Take care.